Welcome to our adventure. This has been a dream of Donalda's for a long time. She wanted to round Cape Horn because of some nautical novels we've been reading. And we booked this in May of 2023, so a long time in advance. And it was enabled because of a gift from her mother upon her passing. So that enabled us to check this off our bucket list. And we were going to spend a week in Buenos Aires with Elmer Durand, which is on Donalda's side of cousin. And here they are. They laid out dinner, breakfast for us. It was just the Durand tradition. They had a gorgeous second floor or third floor? Third floor apartment, I think. Elmer, correct me if I'm wrong. Just an absolutely gorgeous place, and they treated us like royalty, and that's not a bug on my spoon. That's a reflection of the light fixture on the ceiling, which is called a spider fixture. This is looking outside his apartment from a balcony. Look at the local neighborhood, and it's lush. It's summer in Argentina. We're there during a heat wave. I had to point out the plumbing, that's the chain you pull to flush the toilet. There was plenty of pressure given the position of the toilet tank. And I guess you'd call this post-colonial architecture. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. This is a courtyard with a bunch of apartments in there, very cool looking. And a typical street. And the inflation is run, and cobblestones are really rough. This is not a wheelchair-friendly place, but we went out and we got there on Saturday. And Sunday we went for a walkabout and to see the market. And you can see how rough those cobblestones are. And the market was super crowded and packed. I guess maybe people looking for bargains. Casa del Dulce de Leche. Del Dulce de Leche. Everybody has this caramel-like thing in everything. And we had lunch and our snack, a mid-morning snack, and it cost, as you can see, 4,500 pesos, which is about $4.50 for the three of us. That was a light fixture and a bathroom foyer. I don't know why Donalda looks like that. That's a building. Another building. Elmer's going to be cringing. He gave us all this history, but I wasn't taking notes. Lots of public squares, lots of green spaces. This is a fixture in a high-end mall, the ceiling. And this is going down to the harbor area. And that bridge that's got the unique structure is called the Women's Bridge. The women who protested disappearances in Argentina. There were several sailing vessels there. This is all the same sailing vessel. A hot day. Donalda and I went out for a walk. And this is the beginning of a bird sanctuary in Buenos Aires. This is a list of just the Malbecs. And I ordered a filet mignon. I got darn near the whole filet. That was the cost of lunch. That's the cash for lunch. Looks like a bank robbery. That's an engineering faculty building. Pretty cool. And this just shows you, these are geraniums, and it shows what this climate, how these plants thrive in this climate. A bakery. Donalda and I developed a real striving, and the museum was closed because of the high temperatures. We were trying to go in the museum to get out of the high temperatures. This is in the bird sanctuary, very tropical. Look at the sweat dripping off my face here. A boulevard, we're on a bus tour. Part of town, I don't know what it is. We're on a bus tour. And the interesting thing is we got near the end of the bus tour, and the bus was on a very narrow one-lane street, and the bus broke down, blocking all the traffic behind it. Very neat-looking building, but typical Buenos Aires streets. People check their lanes, keep lanes very casually. The lane markers are for a suggestion only. But very European. And then we went to the Recoleta Cemetery. A famous cemetery where Eva Perón is entombed. And these are all packed right in the middle of the city, all these mausoleums. And what's really cool is that they go way down, like 20, 30 feet down, so there's multiple levels. And in many of them, you can see the caskets, and some of them are well looked after. I saw this because of Daniel Ledesma, who's a guy I work with. Some of them are old, and really well looked after. And some of them are not so well looked after. And there's apartment buildings overlooking this big cemetery, this famous cemetery. Again, some are really, really fancy. I don't know whether this is Jewish or not. But here you have one where the window's broken, and there are these old caskets with bodies in them just lying right there. You can see they're old and exposed to the weather. Again, this one's open, I guess, for maintenance, and there's 2 caskets sitting right there, and the grate leads down the stairs. There's the woman who came with me on the trip, and we're at a restaurant having a glass of Malbec and a beautiful meal. I can't remember what those are, but the menu card is right up next. There's the menu card. Panzotti, Dazuka something or other. And there we are ready for... This is the queue to go through security to get on the cruise ship. There's our cruise ship, which is at an industrial terminal. This is our cabin. We're on board here on a Saturday, a week after we arrived. Nice bathroom. We really liked our cabin. This is a view of, we've now left the port. This is a view of the Buenos Aires skyline. You're going to see a few of these. At sunset we were leaving. It was really beautiful. And everything in that picture is beautiful. Yeah, really stark, really caught it well. It was just we had gorgeous weather the entire trip. It was just fantastic. Buenos Aires fading into the distance, and there we are at supper at our table in the main dining room. We always had that table with a window. Donalda's favorite place is the theater or the balcony. We're on the 12th deck. Never had that location on my phone for weather before, South Atlantic Ocean. And they had a sushi bar, which we really enjoyed. Yum. This is the grass deck for putting and lawn bowling, real grass. This is as we approach the town of Ushuaia and the it's not Drake's Passage, Beagle Passage. And it was just really stark landscape. And the word that just kept on every look and everything that we did, the number was overused, but we just kept on saying, wow, this is spectacular. This is where the HMS Beagle sailed through, and this is where the most of the cruises for Antarctica leave from. And look at how jagged the mountains are. It's just really impressive. It was impressive to us. Yeah, the grass only goes up so high. I think it's relatively bleak in the winter, though it doesn't get really, really cold there, which is amazing since it's so close to Antarctica. And there's still snow there at the peak of summer, and these are just some of the camps or ranches along the passage. And in the left-hand corner, you can see the town or city of Ushuaia. It's just looking to the left or to the south. And the weather's a little cooler. Multiple satellite domes, but it was more a picture of where we could walk. Lots of walking on the ship, and there's Ushuaia. Again, stunning mountain peaks behind it. And then on the left-hand side, there's a Argentine Coast Guard vessel and then other cruise ships. But some of them are what are called expedition ships. And here we are, Tierra del Fuego. That's what my phone said for weather. So National Geographic Explorer is one of the expedition ships. They spend 10 days Like those little ships there, expedition ships, that spends 10 days just in Argentina. This was the naval base, and it was also the home of an old prison. I don't know who that ugly guy is. Here's the toilets, which are a hole in the concrete. And there's supper, which is tomato and some bocconcini and some bread and olive oil. And this is Cape Horn, the southernmost tip of South America. And it's not a cape, it's an archipelago. But it's the southernmost piece of land in the world. And it ends the Andes mountain range and then connects with the Palmer Peninsula in Antarctica, which is where we're going, to the Palmer Peninsula. That's the radio station that's up there. I mean, we came in really close. It's hard to see, but that is a statue or a monument to an albatross, which we never saw. We don't think we ever saw an albatross on the trip. That was disappointing. But the captain even though the wind was blowing really hard, he took us right in there. And we're just leaving and going to cross the Drake Passage. That's what the winds look like. And I was desperately hoping for some of these big 40-foot waves. And that not long after we're in there, we see the first iceberg, and our location is now Antarctica. And then we start to see more, and we were like, is it going to be foggy? Is it going to be snowy? Are we going to see anything? And out of the mist and fog starts to appear these black rocks and glaciers, massive glaciers. It was really amazing to see. We're traveling very slow, about 5 knots. There's speed regulations. They don't do any external PA announcements to not disturb the wildlife. But this stark, forbidding landscape appears. It just, if you've read anything about Antarctic explorers, this just brings in how courageous and maybe insane these people were. In this particular one, you can see the clouds covering it. It's so high, and the water we're in is about 3,000 feet deep, and we're at maybe 300 meters away from this, and it's just black rock. There's glaciers everywhere. There's icebergs calving, and this is the peak of summer. And Shackleton and his team were stuck up here. This is on the east side of the Palmer Peninsula. Shackleton and his crew were stuck on the west side, which is the Weddell Sea. And the ship's traveling very slowly, turning a lot, avoiding these icebergs, because somewhere between 90% and like 1 out of 8, I don't know, is that 90%? Only 1/8 of it is above the surface, so it gives you an idea. But you can't see how tall these are. And we're still passing this really forbidding peak. But all this watching icebergs builds up an appetite. So Danelda and I are at one of the specialty restaurants. There's her appetizer, some type of sushi entree. And I got a lobster bisque to start with, which is, they start with dried onion or something else in there, I don't know what it is, and a crouton to a biscuit to put in with some whipped cream. And there's the bisque. They had it from, looks like a teapot, and it was really good. You can see Donalda's got a dark fingernail there. She got a big cut requiring 4 stitches just before the trip at work. More icebergs. I don't know who that guy is, but he needs to work on that double chin. There's Donalda with one of our hats. We had to get extra hats because it was colder than we thought. I have an identical one. Massive icebergs just trailing off into the distance. You can see them. And then we're going to be heading into Paradise Bay. It's called Paradise because it's sheltered from winds in every direction. But again, you can see this is the Palmer Peninsula. Oh, and there's a bird, a land bird that came for a rest. Yeah, so I guess we've left Antarctica. We're now in Puerto Madryn, and a penguin colony, Tombeau Point, where it's 100 and some odd acres and about 1 million penguins, the Magellanic penguin, and guanaco, not llamas or alpacas, guanaco, and there's a walkway and there's all sorts of penguins underneath. Apparently most of them have left, not the guanaco, the penguins have mostly left. This is the only time in their life that they're on land when they come to breed. Otherwise they're continuously on or swimming through the ocean. And again, most of them have gone. But the hillside, the hills and sand dunes, these are not penguins. These are sea lions, I believe. They're not sea elephants. But they're lying way from the water. There's, I can't remember what it's called. But anyhow, Donalda saw it. There's our cruise ship from Puerto Madryn. There's me on the beach. It looked like a picture of my grandfather. I had to get the hat. It was just too bloody hot. Valentine's Day and the bakery and the cooks who are phenomenal, go all out.